Greetings of the day, everyone. So, in this video, we're going to talk about Python and all the necessary packages, the necessary concepts that we need to dive deep into machine learning. So, this video is a long video. I really think all the things that I spoke, and I was very slow in explaining because I thought if I'm going to teach myself who have no idea what machine learning is and what coding is, they need to know the basics, which that machine learning runs on Python. So I was very slow and very keen on explaining the key topics, and this is not it. It's just 50. I think this video will be, or I will be making another video, for example, 2 hours of the only content that you need to understand the code that I'm going to do in machine learning, the videos that will be coming out soon. So please bear with me, and all this is you can already do it in your local machine, or I used Colab. So I believe I'm just starting from the scratch and going upon to the main topics. So it's just a big video. If it's just too tiring for you, you can always pause and come back. I'll just keep the different sections in the video so that you have some idea. But this is a long video, but I think it can be intimidating, it can be boring at the while, but once you get the basics, you will be knowing enough to understand the concepts. And let's say I'm using a term like string casting, string manipulation, you need to understand that concept. So at that time when I'm explaining machine learning, I can't explain that, will be a drawback for us and how we teach. So I made this video. I hope this helps. If you already know Python, this is just like a recap. You can always run it through and see what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about strings, casting, and all the variables and all the basic stuff. So let's dive into the video. So we are on this page, which is obviously a Google Collaboratory. So as if you are from the previous video, so I'm just using this because it's a little bit easier for me to manage my work. So if you're just using it in your local system, it's just the same. So before that, we just want the notebook to be clean and readable. So I'll just go with Python. And so just don't get distracted by the cats and the dogs. I'll just, I just like them around to, motivate me to code. So basically, as I spoke in the intro, this is general knowledge for the Python in machine learning. So I will try to put every functions on everything that we will use the concepts in the video, but this is not all. You can always go and explore. The sky is the limit. So with that being said, if someone who is from absolutely have no idea who's Python, this can also help what Python is, but this video is, again, disclaimer, mainly for the machine learning course that I'm developing, like an intro about the Python packages, and if they don't have any experience in Python. So with that being said, let's just dive into it. And if you have no experience in Colab, I'll just make a link and then add it in the end of the video of this video in my YouTube channel. If you want to learn about Colab and how I'm using all this and the shortcut keys, you can check those videos. So that being said, let's just dive into the video. So the first concept is obviously a Python version. I mean, without that there is no point. So I will just do star, and then I'm just doing this so that if you read it like a notes, that it will help you to have some idea when you come back. So Control MM. So I'm just typing Control MM to be having a little bit of readability for the code, and yes, to see the same. It's just, and then we can go by, you can, if you're using in, for example, you have to import a package, so you don't have to do like you do in your local machine. That's why I use Google Colab mainly, because every other packages are by default installed except the custom. I say again, except the custom packages that you want. Most of the basic packages are already imported. So like this, import sys, can see there'll be no error. Yeah, it needs to connect, so let's just wait for some time. It just, yeah, it's initializing. Yeah, it's connected, so it works. Like I said, all the basic packages, all the necessary packages will be already installed, so you don't have to go the pain of installing the correct version. So now I'm just seeing the system version. So this is why it's the beauty, because if you're obviously using Colab, it pops up stuff like this. So that's the main reason I would personally prefer a beginner that is starting out to use Colab. So now we'll just do the so this is the default 3.7.14 version of Python. So if you're trying to do it in your local machine, you can also try something like this, which is, I'm sure this won't work here because the way that this is built is not like our local machines. So this is running in Google on-prem. So, oh yeah, it works. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, so this also works. So you can try this in your local machine as well. So. Okay, now let's just dive into the stuff. So basically, I just don't want to do this, but it's just how it needs to be done. No, I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to do print hello world because I don't know what, nothing you should know. It's just a phrase we use when we learned programming language. It's just hello world. Printf is, it's basically print. You just have to, it just prints anything that you give inside this code. So just print. Just prints as the name suggests. So let's just talk about an important thing, which is basically a more like a rule in the Python space, which is indentation. So yeah, so indentation is nothing but a spacing at the beginning of a code line. For example, in other languages, how we make a block of code run together is by using curly braces like this. I mean the flower brackets. So we start by giving function name, for example function name, and then anything we type in between this is corresponding to this function. But Python, on the other hand, is being very nice to us, and so that it's very easy that anyone, it's more like to have a very general language that is to English, so you can just read and understand it. So this is very important in Python, is to have indentation, but it's very easy. For example, if this, it's just an if function. If 5 is greater than 2, then you have to give colon, and when you click enter, if you can see by default it's here. It's not in the start of the stuff. For example, let me show you. If I'm on the top, I'm saying just setting W and then give n. Oh, no, sorry. Then click enter. If you can see, it's in the first line of the first word. But if you see here, I'm here in the function, and then when I click enter, there's this pre-indented space. What that means is that if, for example, 5 is greater than 2, anything you put inside this is a block of code that belongs to this function. So anything you execute here, if this case is true, all the statements that are here runs. For example, just give print five is greater than 2. And obviously 5 is greater than 2, so it does run. And then you can use print anything you give inside. If you can see, they have some anything you give this inside will be running here, 5 and 0. So this is what I'm talking about, the indentation. So this is about the indentation. So if you're thinking about this code, I will make it in a very beautiful manner and then put it in the Git so that when you read it, it will be all the speech, all the stuff that I'm speaking about will be written here in a beautiful manner so that it will be easy for you when you read it through. So it's the same. If you want to do a doubles, you can also do two functions. So for example, if this is okay, for example, okay, I'll just show. Obviously this is false, so there will be no, yeah, obviously this is false. 5 is not less than 2, so it won't run. So this is what I mean by that. Okay, now I'll just run this to show you how it works. Yeah, basically it works like this. So it's good that you know how indentation works so that you have a better idea on it. Python indentation. So the next thing we want to talk about is Python variables. So what I mean by variables are nothing but containers for storing data values. What I mean by that is that when you assign a value to a variable, the variables are just created. So it just works as a value holders. So you can just store some values in variable. So what I mean by that is, now I'm going to show you with a beautiful example, which is x is equal to 5 and y is equal to, okay, I'm going to go with hello world. So these two are basically now a variable because I assigned a value. So what I mean by assigning is when you see equal to operator or a symbol, it means you are assigning this 5 to x and you're assigning this string. What I mean by string is that a characters that is enclosed with the double quotes is a string. So it's basically assigned to y. What I mean by that is, now I can show, now if I click x, you see 5 because the 5 value is stored in x. That goes the same. You can see y. You can see all over. But variables do not need to be declared with any particular type, and you can even change the type. Like I said, this is integer and this is string. You can change it after they have been set as well. For example, as I said, I'll just show you with another example, which is x is equal to 4, as we already assigned it as 5. Now if I do this, it will just be changed, so it doesn't have to affect anything. So Sally, so what I mean by this is basically integer type variable. So integer type variable, this is basically integer type variable. So we can always give a hash integer type variable, and then this is a string type variable. String type variable. String type variable, and if I just give print now, it won't say 5, it will just say 4 because I changed it when I execute this cell. So let's go with x. Yeah, so if you see, we just changed it after this has been created. When you do this the first time, it's created and then you just change it, so it's just now 4. Now the next thing I want to talk to you about is that a famous word which you should know is casting. So what I mean by that is casting. So if you're wondering what I'm doing, is I'm just typing 3 hashes so that this is in a bold, so that when I can close this. For example, all the stuff that I just talk about the indentation is in a single cell for us to be easy. So something like this, so you can just open it and see. Now I'm in the casting. So what I mean by casting is that if you want to specify the data type of a variable, this can be done with just casting. For example, what I mean by that is that, for example, let's just show with an example. We just gave x to be 4, just 4. We didn't mention any types. So if you want to specify a type, you can just give by str string 3. If you see 5, this is printed 4 with no quotes. Now when I give this as a string, what do you think it will be when I press shift and enter? Because as you can see, what I said here is anything that is enclosed with quotes, double quotes, is a string. So now that I'm specifying the 3 is a string, not an integer, this will be into a printer as a string. So now I'll just show you. Yes, there you go. This is what I mean. And there's also other important string types which I will speak in detail, but now I'll just go with int. It's just integer. You already know this is an integer, so 3. Then we'll go with the float type, which you should know, just with like a fractional number with decimal points and stuff. So this will be basically like 3.0. I'll just show you again. Print x, y, z. X, y, z, 3 string, 3 integer, 3.0 is the float. So now if you can also check by the type, because we already set it. It's gonna show which we already know. Let's see. Let's go on this, this. This is just to change it. So y, I'm just gonna do z, and then we'll run it. If you can see, as we already specified here, string int float. You can always change it, so there is nothing wrong with that. You can always change it. And another thing you want to know is that the variable names are case sensitive. What I mean by that is, now z is 3 string. Now for example, if I use a cap uppercase x, specifying it as 0, the small x is going to be 3 no matter what you change. So these variables are case sensitive, so yes. The next thing is, this is very, very important when I speak about, this is very important in machine learning because we use this a lot. There's a concept that is called as snake case. What I mean by that is, for example, let's just give an snake for you just want to talk about let's say, machine learning, we use lots of training set and we use variables to store all the values. We're not just gonna do like x is equal to y is equal to, it's going to be confusing as we will be working on lots and lots of variables and data. So what we do is that, for example, you're gonna name a variable. For example, this is an example. We won't name like this in machine learning problem, but similar to this. So for example, my variable name is equal to, for example, I'm just go with Orion, something like that. So what I mean by snake case is that a set of words with an underscore so that you understand what this is all about. So sorry, this is in a snake case, so just put it right here. So this is also a variable type, but this is not how we usually write. For example, just write training set. We just write training set is equal to something like this. This is how we use. So if you just run this, this is also considered as a variable. So this is basically snake case. It's just each word is separated by underscore, which this makes sense to us who program the machine learning code or anything that is similar. Oh, my charger. Okay, I think we got that. So you can also assign multiple values in variables. Why I'm talking about variables is that this is very important when we dive in deep into machine learning. We use lots of variables. We assign many values to multiple variables, so something like this. So we will go something like x, y, z, which is basically we're trying to assign x, y, z, 3 variables in the single line. This is basically many values to multiple variables. So we go by orange, banana, go banana, I love banana, babana, banana. I'm just getting trigger happy here. And then cherry. So if you see now, I'll just show you what an x is. X is obviously orange. So something like that. Why I'm showing this is that obviously we're not going to do for all the things that in machine learning programs. All we're just going to say is we will have a variable which has, for example, lots and lots of values inside it. We're just going to say that all the values in that row go to x. So this is something like this. So all you have to know is we can assign many values to multiple variables at the same time, or we can also do the same, something like this. We can all assign a equal to b equal to c is equal to yes. We can also do something like this and then go like something. What can I say? We just see a, b, and c. So you can say everything is yes. So you can also assign single value to multiple variables, and you can also like traverse it. You can do lots of things. So we'll just go with the same stuff which we made fruits. Just do fruits. Then we'll go with a list. If you want to talk about just mango. Then what do we want? Then fruits, mango. We'll go with cherry as well. Cherry. And then I don't know, we'll go with the banana because really love banana. Maybe I should have went with the apple, but yeah. And then we can also do something like f comma g comma h is equal to fruits. So I think you understand what I mean by this. It's just similar to the what I'm doing here. It's just I'm just passing a list to them. So this was what I mean when we do in machine learning. We're just gonna have lots of data here to one variable, and then we just add them like this. So if you can see f comma g comma h, they're just mango, cherry, and banana. So this is how we do in machine learning. So I'm just trying to keep it very simple for you. And the Python function is mainly print. It's often used to output the variables, but this is just how we do it in Colab. So if you want to running a script, you just always have to use print to do this. So it's just scripting programming. So just have to follow the rules here. So print is basically nothing, the same stuff that I did. So you can also go with like print f comma g comma h. So you just go into the same stuff. That's all. There's nothing, no rocket science that we want to do, but you can also do more like an addition, like a single sentence that you want to make, like print f plus g plus h. Then you can go like mango, cherry, banana. But if you also want a space, you can do it something like, for example, f. I'll just make f is equal to space mango, and see carefully. I give a space here, and then g is equal to space cherry space, and then h is equal to banana is equal to banana. Then now when I do print f plus g plus h, mango, cherry and banana, something similar to this can be done. Then you can also do that the same for plus addition. For example, a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2. You can also do print a plus b is going to be obviously 3, but always keep in mind all the operations can be performed on the same data type, not the different data types. What I mean by that is, let's say c is equal to 1 and d is equal to string, which is hello. So if I try this print, and then for example c plus d, it's really not going to work out. It doesn't work like that, so it's just going to throw an error. Unsupported operand for int and string. What this means is that you have a variable which is string, and then you have another variable which is int. This is the int, this is the string, and you just can't add. It doesn't work like that. Both has to be string, or both has to be as an integer to work. So another thing that I did here, which I want to talk about, is commenting. So what I mean by that is I've used a hash. So when I run this, I might use int type variable. So what I mean by that is that this gives us an idea about what this code is going on and working on. Basically, you can say something like you want to have a good explanation in explaining a code to someone, more like when you talk about shareability and readability. It makes a lot of sense when you share it to a couple of people that you have in work, or to me, for example, if now I am just making a random code, but I know what are the topics that I need to cover, but this is not full. Now I'm talking. So when I upload this code into my Git, it will be lots of commented because I want it to be professional and want you, when you read the code, to be understandable for you. So that's our comments. So just to make what is, for example, Python comments, and we'll just go. These can be used to explain the code or make the code readable. So just makes the code more readable and understandable, something like this. So just to show you a couple of examples and the different types of this, you can make a comment. So I'll just close this because I don't want it to be messy. Casting, yeah. Okay, let's go. I'll just use the same old example, which is print hashtag hello world. When I run this, I'm just going to print this. But if you had a comment, that is going to do nothing. It's not even gonna. It's like it doesn't execute that. It's just commented. So that code is comment. So basically, this anything inside this is a comment. So why we basically use this is to readability and more to understand the inner workings of function. When you go in deep into coding in machine learning, there'll be lots of functions, and you want to know where is things are going wrong. So what we do is we write a couple of codes, and then we try to comment it inside each functions and check which is getting executed and which is not getting executed. So you can do like in many ways. do it in a single line and in the code, and then you can do that there. For example, this, and then you can do it right here. Like for example, let's just say this is a comment like this. It also works perfectly. So then I think it's good to print this, and if you want to check whether your code is not working, for example, just you did some wrong, let's say something like this, wow, and then you go with print wow mama, you do this, obviously you're gonna get an error because of this stuff, and this is a problem. So now you just need to check the code. You can just do this and then run it, it'll work. So it's just to know which works and which doesn't work in the code. And then you can also do multiple line commands. Python really doesn't have a syntax for multi-line commands like it does, but you can add a hash to multiple lines, like what I mean by, if you want to just like this, what I mean. And then you can give print x, it's gonna run up. Okay, I got to, you're happy. So it just doesn't matter, you can give this, or there is also, if you want explaining a code or a couple of stuff that you want to do, you just can't go to all the code. It's like even 20 codes, you just can't go every single line and then give hash. So you can do something like 3 quotes and then give another 3 here, and then anything you type inside will be commented. So basically like this is my program. It doesn't matter, you can just describe the function or whatever you want, and then you can just always do this print, and then to show you the code is, this code doesn't affect it, just the same stuff, it doesn't affect it in any way. So it's very good for you to use these commands. As you're a beginner, you can explain what you want to explain here in the code when you write it. So if you share to your friend, if you share to someone, it will be easy for you to remember and explain it when you show them. So it's just a good thing that comments are a really good thing. So the next thing we're going to talk about is data sets. It's a very, very important topic that we need to look upon, which is you can also do this, double click and then try to type it, hash. You can always see a preview here. If you want to know more about it, check the video. There's lots of explanation there. I just don't want to waste the time here explaining the inner workings of the Python collab. Google collab, I'm sorry, pardon me. So this is the Python data type. So basically we will go on about saying there are lots of types, but the main text type, which is basically string, str, string. Then just close this one to be more easy. Also double click string data type, and then we have the numeric. This is very important, numeric types. Numeric types are the basic ones which you already know. Int, float, which is the point. Then this is complex. Don't worry about this. We don't use this a lot, but just to know that there is something like this, complex. Just know float, and just a very important one that we use. So you're very good to go if you know all this. Another one is sequence types, which is this. You need to know this is a list and tuples. This is very important. You need to know that. it's just what we did here. The our variables where we tried to. So this is basically a list which you can add. Tuple you can't add. I'll just don't worry about that. Just don't get intimidated by this. You can just always pause and come back to see the videos. I know this is new, but please bear with me. Anything you learn takes time when it's valuable. So I think as the time goes, it will be easy for you to grasp all the stuff. So mapping type is nothing but dictionary. It's a dictionary. The next one is Boolean. This is very important. Just bool. So we just use this. So just make sure you know this. That's all. You don't need to know this. Just know what are the types that exist. All this we will be using very frequently in machine learning, except obviously the complex one that I mentioned. We might have some rare cases. So basically, I'll just show you what everything is basically. So it's the same, like is equal to. Oh, well, I'll just do it the old. So now I'll start with the string. So basically, the famous hello world, like I told you before, hello world, and then I'm gonna use the command to show you that it is a string. And then next we can talk about the integer one, which is just a number, and next is the float one, which is 20.5, something like that. You can just add a decimal and then it's there. Then the next is obviously the complex, which is you don't have to worry about it, but just know there's something called as complex. It's not a real number. And then the list, just always make sure you use the square brackets for the list. So, and for tuples, the circular ones, so you'll be good. Apple, banana, and cherry. Apple, banana, and cherry. Banana and cherry. And you can always do the same stuff. Yeah, so I'll just do this because I'm too lazy, but don't do this, just always type. It's good for you when you start out as a beginner. So all you have to do is nothing but just change the change it into circular ones. So basically they're tuple now, and then just know this, it's just like a function, like you can just click range, and then any range you specify will be the minus the one. What I mean by that is, for example, if I put 6, all the variable x will have the values starting from 0 till the number before this, or -1. What I mean by this, the number -1 is that 0 till 6 minus 1, 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 5. That's all you need to know. And then next is a dictionary, so which is don't worry about this can be intimidating, but as time goes it'll be easy. It's very important. Dictionary you need to know, which is key value pass. We give name, and then we assign a value. Basically that's literally it. We can name John. Then we'll go with what does age? Yeah, let's go with age. Then let's just give int, so 36. So this is a dictionary, so key value pass. So this is the key, this is the value, this is the key, this is the value. So don't worry about it. Next is set. Set is similar like this, but you use the flower brackets or the curly ones. So nothing to worry about it, and each has its own characteristics like list can be changed, tuple can be changed, so stuff like that. So the last one is basically booleans. You need to know this, very important one, because we use this a lot in machine learning. Boolean. Okay, so these are the data types that you need to know. This is how it works. So I'll just dive deep in the following cells that we're going to talk about, so don't worry about anything. It will be easy for you. I promise you, as the time goes, it'll be very easy for you. So now let's just talk about Python. We'll just go with the first one, which is Python strings. So, which is yeah, and then go with the three dots that we always do. Python strings. Yeah, so Python strings are surrounded by either a single quotation marks or double quotation marks. It really doesn't matter, like you might have seen. Like I used a lot. Print, just go hello world, print hello, and I'll go with the same, saying that print two. So it just doesn't matter. It's just a string anyway. Just print hello hello. It really doesn't matter. And then if you just do the same assignment, it's the same. Just assigning up. Sorry. Just do hello, and then you go by print, and then do hey. That's all. Just hello. It's just a string, so you can do this, and you can also make lots of different strings. Like you can do the famous loperum ism, that phrase they always use in all the templates. That for the I work so much I even remember all the text. Sit aim I think, yeah, and then you can just kill all stuff. It's just the same stuff. You don't have to just do a little bit of indentation. Yes, indentation with the commas. You can just also store lots like pardon. Like lots of paragraphs, so you will be good. Let's go with the. I don't remember. I'll just make it very clean when I post it. But for now, just bear with me. I don't know if I only remember the first sentence because I've been using that lots of time. So as I said, multi-lines. If you're having multi-lines, this is the rule. And then for each time you want to go, you're going to give a comma, a comma, a comma. So all of this is basically a. You can always see by print a. As you can see, when I'm here, when I give enter, it by default comes here. So that is what I mean by indentation, which is very important, because that's very important. So basically, strings are like arrays. So don't worry, just like think about that. It doesn't have any like character type or a single data type. It's just a string. Like it's just a string, and you can have any number of characters like this in the stuff. So what I mean by array is that a concept which, for example, let's just show you with an example, is that give you hello world. What by the word I mean array is that, for example, when I have a string variable like this, what I mean by that array is a set of all these letters with an value behind them. For example, H, we just count with each alphabet and the space and the special characters. For example, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I put len is equal to a, what do you think would be that? It's 11. Why is that? When you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You have to count, as I said, the special characters. So I just done a mistake and said 10. So this is of length 11. So the way you counted is not the way you see a string. For example, you have to see it from 0. So the h will start from 0, 1, 2, 3, until 10. So what I mean by that is that I'll just give you an example. So when I mean print of 0, but we have 11 characters as a length, what does 0 bring? If you see 0, if 0 is 1, not length, I'm sorry, I'm crazy. Print 0 is h. So 0 means the first characters. So if I put 1, as the length was 11, if I do 11, it's going to throw us an error because this string is out of range. What I mean by this, because if this is started as a 0, this will be 1. 0 till the 11 characters is 10. So the last word is 10. D. This is what an array is. It's just very simple. So you can just go like this, and you can also print all the stuff that are in a string for x. Let's just go with my favorite stuff, banana. Don't worry about this. This is a loop. Loop, what I mean by that is that it's a variable in a given range. So just print all the stuff that there are in. What I mean by that is go and print x. So now if I just print all the stuff for x in banana. So when x is b, it goes down and executes the code. So the x is b, it says print b, so b. And then it comes again here and it gets iterated. X goes to a, comes here, executes the code, which is a. And then goes to n, comes here, prints n. So it works like that. So I'll just dive deep when we go into the loop. Now we'll just work on the string part of the variables. And then now we'll just talk about length, which I already told. Length is nothing but the number of alphabets inside it. So we'll go with a. Nope. Small a. Which is obviously 11 because when you count for length, you must start with 1. When you index or index slicing, you have to go from 0. The next thing is the same. You can check if there is a text, for example. Just give a text is equal to the best things in life are free. That's not very true, but just we're going to use that here as a sentence. Then we'll go with if free is in the text, print free if in text. What this means is this: just check if free is in the given text, which is false. Why is that? Because I have typed here 3 instead of free. That's the problem. Now if you run it, it's just true, so you can also do that. So as I already mentioned, the word slicing is nothing but you can return a range of characters by the slicing. What I mean by that is that, for example, we have texts, or we'll just go with the hello world prop itself. So now I'll just assign it. I want it to be clean. Hello world, and then print. We'll just go with b of 2*5. So exactly, look, what I mean by this is that, as I already told you, when you slice, you have to see it from 0. So this, consider this 2 as a starting point and 5 as an ending point. So we go from 0, 1, 2. So 2 is our starting point. We must always include the starting point. So L, 2, 3, 4. And this is 5. But when you see the ending point, you should never include the ending point. So you go back one step and you stay here. So this is 2, 3, 4. So you just will only see the value these three values. Again, I'm repeating it. The starting value must be included and the ending number should not be included. What I mean by that is when you run it, LLO. But if you counted 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is this comma which is not included. So always remember that. If you want this to be included, you can go simply 6 and then run it. As simple as that. Just add it. Then if you want to just want everything from a starting point, for example, you want B from 2 till everything, you just pick 2 and then you don't do anything. And from 2 till everything. It's the same stuff. And if you want to do, the opposite, like you want to go behind, you do the same stuff. You just go, just do the reverse stuff. It's just the same stuff. Just do minus and then it comes from the back. 0, 1. It's the same. It's the same stuff. So you don't have to worry. And you can also work on string modifications basically. So we'll just see some string modify because this is very important when you go in. I know this can be a little bit tiring, but just always for this, cut this video, pause this video and come back because this is very important stuff that you need to learn in order to work in this environment. So I'm just sorry to say this. These things are important. Up. What did I do? These things are important. Now what I did is control slash. So no, what did I do? Yeah, I should have done that. Modify string. Let's just see a quick couple of modify strings that we can use because we use this a lot in the coding space. Hello world. Oh, do you want to give it a space? Yeah, I'll just give it a space. Hello world and the dash one. Then now you want to do just give print. Then the dot split. Then go with the up. Made a mistake again. Dot split of 2 brackets and then comma. What I mean by that is when you give a comma, it searches for the comma and then splits the string into 2. And it just did the same thing, it just split the strings into 2. So there's lots of more functions that we will see in the upcoming videos. I just don't want to dump lots of information in the same video, so I'm just going to stop it right here. And this code will be available in my GitHub and that link will be added in my description. So this is basically a Python quick cheat sheet or a quick run through for the main machine learning course. So you can always dive deep and learn, but I always prefer you practice and you get to know if you're new. I assume that you are new, so that's why I'm just specifying all these tiny details that you need to know. Then I talk about I'm just doing string split, string modification. I just don't want you to be like, what is string modification and what is casting? I just want to make sure. That's why I'm just touching all the topics, and you can always check the Python Colab readable version in my Git. So I think we will catch in another video. So until then, be safe and happy learning.